Ah, a barn full of chickens. That's an interesting way to begin an episode. Oh wait, so now he is the chicken? And now he's dead? Now she's eating him? There's a maxim about anime. If you have a new anime idea, do it first starring cute girls. But that idea has changed. Now any idea is first done with isekai, or at least reincarnation. I don't often make claims about the best or worst anime because I simply don't watch enough in any given year. However, I am confident that I found the worst anime of 2022. Reincarnated as a dummy head microphone. But first, this claim needs some background. 3-minute episode anime are interesting. Sometimes you get lightning in a bottle greatness like Inferno Cop. Usually you get some incredibly goofy premise that doesn't have much beyond a simple premise and is quite boring, with little, if any, development. In 2021, the world was graced with 180 Bio di Kimi no Mimi Shirawasi ni Dekuru ka.
I just butchered that.
Or ASMR in 180 seconds. As far as I know, the first anime to be about ASMR. What is ASMR?
ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response.
The weird sensation you get after hearing certain sounds. Some people call it the tingles. Sometimes it's relaxing, other times it's just strange. I would compare it to the audio equivalent of using one of these head massagers. Seriously, these things feel indescribably strange, in a good way. ASMR has a reputation for being creepy and sexual, filled with mouth sounds, whispering a lot, and like a fetishistic level of pampering. Oh, and lots of tapping on everything you can find. 180's treatment of ASMR, I'm pleased to report, is a respectful exploration of the strange and relaxing sounds and the people who make them. I'm just kidding, it goes straight to the creepy personal attention. Ear picking, heavy breathing, and mouth sounds are right there from the first episode. But I can praise the show on having actual sound design. It does actually try to be ASMR. It doesn't do anything for me, but I can see how someone could find the episodes relaxing sometimes. At least until the ending theme starts playing too loudly. And there's some occasional nice scenes and sounds. Like this one of a girl sitting out on a porch in the summer sun with a cool glass of water and ice cubes softly clinking against the glass. Someone cared deeply on this production team. I would never call this anime good, but it has at least a base amount to make it interesting. But this isn't a video about acceptably okay anime. In early 2022, a new anime was announced. My Life After Waking Up as a Dummy Head Microphone. Here's the description we were given at the time. After reincarnating into a dummy head microphone, the protagonist gets involved in the lives of high school girls who do ASMR. The comedic anime will follow these high schoolers as they aim for the ASMR Koishin. Sweet, maybe this one will be slightly less weird than 180. Well, let me tell you, not only is dummy head much worse, the description is a damn dirty lie. I don't know if that came from actual promotion material or was just invented by some English language coverage of the anime in a fever dream. But it's a complete misrepresentation of the show. So what is Dummy Head actually about? Well, it is about a guy who dies and gets reincarnated, but not just a microphone. It's serial reincarnation into all variety of objects, all happening to be around a group of high school girls. Episode 1, he becomes the titular microphone, and it's immediately obvious that the show is not trying to create ASMR. It's allegedly about ASMR, but we get to hear the main character's inner thoughts, and there is nothing about the tone I would describe as relaxing. But let's briefly talk about the girls in the show to introduce them, in case that matters. I'm not introducing the male lead because there is no introduction to give to him. He just is. The primary pair are Yuri, with tan hair, and Kurume, with black hair. Later we will meet Yuri's little sister, as well as a girl with red highlights in her hair, and eventually these other two people on the poster. Only Yuri and Kurume matter. The only real thing of note in the first episode is Kurume saying she doesn't want a boyfriend at one point. This show will ooze Yuri vibes later, so that's just important foreshadowing. As it will be confusing to talk about Yuri with a character named Yuri, that's just another reason to call her tan hair instead. So that's episode 1. Episode 2 is where the show goes from mild to wild. As I said, this is a serial reincarnation, and the guy is now a bicycle seat. As far as the ASMR club, you won't be hearing much about that anymore. We will be seeing the girls we were introduced to quite a lot though. Is this an eternal hell for the main character to suffer for his misdeeds? Unclear. For now he's not suffering, he's a bicycle seat, blushing on his non-existent cheeks, as a hot girl's other cheeks weigh down upon him. At this point it was already pretty clear the show was not for me. I didn't have high expectations for a show about an ASMR club, but this isn't even something I would enjoy watching even if it was good, and a premise I would never even watch without its false advertising. Episode 3, so now where does this wacky premise go to? How about to a chicken? The main character isn't a coward, he's a literal chicken on a farm now. We very briefly follow his adventures of being slaughtered, processed, shipped, and cooked into a tasty snack that the girls eat in their club room at school. Okay? I've seen more vor than I ever wanted to, and that being I never really wanted to see any. But I haven't seen being reincarnated as an animal and forcibly participating in the industrial meat industry, so this was novel at least. Episode 4, on the other hand, is relatively normal and tame. Our dude is now a pillow. And that's it. This episode is really just a conversation between black hair, and tan hair's little sister. It's incredibly boring. But episode 5 is what cemented this show as the worst for me. The main protagonist is reincarnated as a baby's pacifier, which is then stuck in a teenage girl's mouth as she roleplays a baby. Look, being eaten was weird, but this is just a whole nother level of screaming, this is a fetish. And people acting like babies is one of my least favorite things. That's when I tapped out on my initial viewing. This show is just some weird fetish shit, and I wanted no more of it. It's not even like disguised or a justified in-universe fetish, it's just a fetish. There's no time to explain in a short episode, it's just there. At this point you may say, really? That's all? I've seen worse. And yeah, there's definitely worse. One problem with releasing this video several months into 2023 is that there's already a much worse 3-minute reincarnation anime this year. My Life as Inu-san's Dog, which I'm ashamed to have even seen part of one episode of, but that's this year, and that's already been covered by several large channels because it's terrible. Dummy Head is more specifically awful for my tastes, but with a premise that was interesting enough to get me to actually expect that it could be decent, except the premise was a lie, so I wanted to talk about it. But you probably want to know where this goes, so I had to finish the series for this video. You're welcome. Yes, the episodes are short, but the mental anguish lasts long after them. In episode 6, our lad is a measuring tape. That's rather tame, you might say. I thought that too until he is wrapped tightly to measure a girl's bust size. That's basically the whole episode, there's nothing of note here really. Episode 7, on the other hand, gets pretty strange. When you watch a bunch of garbage short anime, there's some common themes you'll notice. One of these is that it's common to have an episode or two that's just a completely different feel from the others. This is generally a positive thing, could even be someone getting their first chance to fully direct or storyboard a production. 180 had this too, with a sudden shift to a grizzled male character in a bar for an episode. But a Dummy Head is much, much less interesting than that. First 30 seconds of episode 7 are just shots of stars and the male lead monologuing about nonsense. And then he is not reincarnated to anything in this episode, as far as we know. Instead it's just the other black-haired girl from the poster, apparently having a dream about a teacher harassing her? I don't know what to call the teacher grabbing her breasts and saying she likes them small, butt harassment. And then the episode's over. Now episode 8 is just sort of pointless. It's a weird horror story that doesn't seem to have anything to do with the show's initial premise, or reincarnation, or anything. The show wants the viewer to care about the two main female characters. I clearly don't, as I'm still calling them by hair color instead of name, but this episode doesn't even give us that, it's just using the character designs for a completely different story. Even compared to the rest of the show, this feels like a waste of 3.5 minutes of my life. So now, Episode 9. Episode 9 is cute girls doing cute things. The male lead reincarnates as candy that the girls eat, but we've already covered the bridge of him being eaten, and that barely registers at this point, because there's not even really a focus on the candy. It's just a short episode of obnoxiously sweet Yuri bait and grating voice acting. Episode 10 is an almost welcome return to the garbage that you're here for if you liked the first few episodes. Reincarnated as a dog. Unfortunately, as I already mentioned, there's now a much worse version of this and Inu-san's dog, so this episode retroactively has no reason to exist. And episode 11, holy shit guys, the dummy head microphone is back! Plot twist of the century! If you were watching this for really shitty ASMR, you finally got your wish. But look at this series now, it's just a mess. How do you close this all out? Well, drum roll please, it's time for episode 12. What happens in episode 12? Watch this clip for a second.
なんでこんなところにダミヘが？
久しぶりだな、人間の姿も。それよりチョコ作ったんだろ？私に行かなくていいのか？
それは。
行きなさい。命短し恋する乙女。苦味もまた青春の味なのだ。
ちょ待ってこれは
The male lead, but he's still a dummy head microphone, grows a body and physically carries one of the girls to meet the other. The end. Like I said, the show wants us to care about the characters, and I guess Dummy Head-san's going to help them get together. No one should be single on Valentine's Day in this universe. It's almost a satisfying conclusion, and the last couple episodes make me consider this almost not a complete waste of time. The show does sort of start going somewhere, maybe. It's remarkably improved from the early episodes that were just fetishes. But yeah, overall the show is still a huge waste of time. Final thoughts. Well, what else can I say? This show is weird and not the good kind of weird. It's garbage and I can't really think about what could make me like it less. 2 out of 10. The only positives are that it's short and I can't really accuse it of being boring in the long run. If you think there was something last year that was even worse, let me know. I enjoy losing all hope. Bye.